Have you ever thought that people who are very sad at funerals may be very dangerous? Stay with us to know this story. Well, Margie Burfitt was the first woman to be executed in the United States after 1962 and after the 1976 law change in 1984. Velma's execution was brought up in many news around the world. She was the first woman who died using injection or the same poison. Velma was executed at 2 in the morning on November 2nd, 1984 in Central Prison. She was 52 years old. She was a mother and a grandmother, and she had killed 6 people. Velma was addicted to sleeping pills. He had 4 drug overdoses. Velma was born October 23rd, 1932 in a large family with 9 children. Velma was the second child and the first girl in the family. He claimed that his father abused and beat him and his sisters. Velma dropped out of school and had 2 children at the age of 19. Velma took care of the children and her husband Thomas worked to support the household expenses. But everything went wrong when Thomas suffered severe head and neck injury in a car accident and was no longer able to work. He had to work hard to earn money, but the mental condition of Thomas and Velma was getting worse day by day. Thomas turned to alcohol and became a chronic alcoholic by consuming too much alcohol. Velma also started taking antidepressants in order to get rid of stress and anxiety. Velma used to take a lot of sedatives in addition to antidepressants so that she became addicted to all drugs. Thomas died in a house fire in 1969, although it was arson that was later suspected. After that, Velma married another man named Janice. It was not even 6 months after their marriage that his wife lost her life due to poisoning. Velma decided to commit fraud because of her low salary. She used to buy clothes and give fake checks. She forged people's signatures. Her method was to kill the person who gave her the check before the date of the check was over. It would clear the problem altogether. Velma married Stuart Taylor in 1977. This was her 3rd marriage. Velma was using his bank card without Stuart knowing. Velma, afraid that Stuart would find out, slowly started to pour water into Stuart's death of a mouse. Stuart got sick little by little, but he pretended not to know and tried to convince others to take care of him. But Stuart's condition was getting worse day by day. After a few days of taking Stuart to the hospital, he dies. The doctor at the hospital was smarter this time. He declared Stuart's death suspicious and was able to get permission to use a slit. After the user found out that his body was full of arsenic, Velma was immediately arrested for murder. In the first court session, Velma's lawyer tried to convince the jury that she was crazy and had no control over her behavior, but this assumption was rejected. The court sentenced Velma to death, and when Velma heard the verdict, she acted very cold, as if it didn't matter if her life ended. Later, Velma confessed that one of her victims was her mother, because she had taken a loan in her mother's name, and so that her mother would not find out. She destroyed. In the continuation of his confession, he also confessed to the murder of the 2 other people. The owner of his own house and a relative of her 3rd husband were the other victims of Velma. Velma says, "I was always sad at funeral, little by little. It became clear that Velma also destroyed his 2nd wife. Velma said that I also killed my 1st husband with arsenic." Velma's motivation for everything was only money so that she could buy her medicines. He said, "I had a guilty conscience." In the court where the sentence was issued, Velma Dick was not addicted to drugs and was completely sober. In this court, he expressed regret and said that the pill He was taking Metim, unable to distinguish right from wrong. During the time that Velma was waiting for his trial, he was baptized again in prison and was born again as a Christian. As he said, although this was very common among murderers, the time of Velma's trial came. After killing 8 people, he was executed. On the day of his execution, he was not disturbed and had no fear. He had only one request, which was fulfilled. Velma asked for a sedative pill and they gave it to her. She took the pill and then she was executed.